Hello everyone, welcome to Olive Board. I am Anshul, your JAIB mentor, and today we are starting a whole new series in which we are going to summarize the whole syllabus of our RBWM paper for your JAIB exam. Today we are starting with the unit 1 of module A, which is retail banking introduction. So in this unit we'll be learning the basics about retail banking, the characteristics, advantages, constraints, evolution, challenges and the future of retail banking. Similarly, in the further sessions, we are going to summarize all the other units. We'll be covering the 100% syllabus. So let us start with the first unit of our module A, which is retail banking and introduction. Starting with the meaning of retail banking. So retail banking is basically providing the banking services to the individual customers. In the very beginning, the banking was basically focused on corporate customers, right? But then the product centric approach was changed into the customer centric approach. Banks have realized that it is important to satisfy all the financial needs by offering the products to suit the customers requirements. So mobilizing deposits, accepting deposits from the public, lending it to enterprise class or the individual class to get the income. Despite the changes, the major function it remains the same. So retail banking is basically the provision of banking services and products which are offered to the individual customers, the non-entrepreneurial purposes. For their personal use, the products are created. On the retail liability side, all the types of deposits are there. On the retail asset side, all the types of loans are there. We also have the third party products like insurance products, capital market products, which are offered to individuals. Then retail banking, basically it is a two-step procedure. It starts with a target clientele, which is the common mass, the large customer group. So we create generalized banking products, the standardized banking products, and which are offered to satisfy the broad customer base and create a stable source of funding for the bank. This is the mass retail banking. Then we move on to the class retail banking, in which the banks they offer customized products. Customized products to the niche customer segment, the high net worth individuals. So these are more tailor made to satisfy particular needs of the high net worth individuals. And when retail banking is solely focused on this niche customer segment, we call it as a private banking. So banking for the individuals is retail, under which we have mass retail banking and class retail banking. For the firms, it can be wholesale or MSME firms. So we in our RBWM paper, we are focused on the individual side, the retail banking, right? So consumer banking, customer banking, individual banking, these are all the terms used, and the same banking products are created to satisfy the needs of individuals, the individual customers. So savings, including savings deposit, current account, mortgages, personal loans, asset side to the general public, all of these things are there. If we talk about the characteristics of retail banking, the target is individual customers or small organizations are also here to meet the needs of large number of customers that have well diversified portfolios. It is focused towards the mass market segment, large population of individuals, non-individual entities as well. It offers the different liability, asset and a plethora of service products. The delivery model is both physical and virtual. So basically, we have multiple products both on the asset side and liability side, as well as the third party product. So multiple products are there, multiple customer groups are there, the mass market, then we have the affluent class, we have the high net worth, super affluent, and multiple channels of distribution. The products are delivered via the physical branches and even the digital channels, the remote channels like ATMs, mobile banking, internet banking. off-site delivery channels are there, and these services are extended to the small and medium-sized businesses as well. There's huge potential of cross-selling and to retain the customers. All right, so these are the characteristics. If we talk about what are the advantages of retail banking, so the client base is large, therefore the risk will be widespread across the customer base. There will be low chances of the loans becoming NPA. Customer loyalty will be strong. There's a good scope for cross selling. The customers, they do not change from one bank to another very often, and there will be attractive and widespread interest. Why? Because the customers are too fragmented to bargain. So the banks will be able to offer a more higher discretion on the interest rate. Credit risk also tends to be well diversified because the loan amounts are relatively small. There is less volatility in demand and credit cycle, and large number of clients can facilitate marketing, mass selling, ability to categorize or select clients using the scoring systems. So faster transaction, convenience, mobile banking, all of these advantages are provided to the customers as well. If we talk about the evolution of retail banking, so if we talk about the retail banking as a business model, it evolved over the years. In the Indian scenario before 1960s, only business and corporate clients for working capital and project financing, they were getting the banking facility. Later on, with the entrance of the foreign sector banks, the private sector banks, the individual or customer centric approach was adopted by the public sector banks as well. The conventional banking business was done on a more generalized approach. There was no specific demarcation as retail and non retail activities earlier in the public sector banks. Later on, in the 1970s, in the 1980s, the consumer banking models they were launched. So certain names are there like the Standard Chartered Bank, Grindlays Bank, Citibank, then Indian banks like Indian Overseas Bank, Bank of India, Bank of Baroda, Andhra Bank. They launched their customer centric models. They launched their credit card products and entered into the retail banking space. In today's times, the NBFCs, MNCs have also aggressively entered the retail banking space, and we already know how quickly it has grown. So, if we talk about the retail banking evolution, this can be the timeline. If we talk about what are the prerequisites for the success of retail banking, there should be presence of efficient delivery mechanism. In today's time, the customers, they expect a safe, secure, prompt and cost effective manner. By leveraging technology, they want anytime anywhere banking facility. Direct banking should be there, like the channel approaches to sell and service the customers needs. Not only the branch but ATMs, call and email centers, mobile banking services, direct mail, web based model should be there. Product appropriateness is a very essential precondition. All the new customers, according to their requirement, suitable products should be introduced to them. Pricing, again, on the liability side as well as the asset side, are very important. They are heavily weighted against the retail customers. Scoring model is important to assess the financial discipline of applicants, and customer or consumer protection environment should be there, so that the regulators, if they fail to protect the consumers interest, if there are any unfair practices, it will lead to customer dissatisfaction. So it is important that unless the banks, they are firmly committed to treating their customers fairly, they put in place appropriate system, the customers will not have trust on the banking system. All right, so consumer protection environment. These are the prerequisites for success. And what is the future for retail banking? Challenges are there: consumer protection, management information system, KYC, managing the risk, continuing growth. These are all the challenges. But there are certain reasons for the growth of retail banking as well. There's a rise in the Indian middle class, their income is increasing, their purchasing power is increasing. So, improving the consumer purchasing power, is contributing to India's retail banking segment. India is also growing as an economic superpower. The increasing purchasing power of the middle class people, they are getting more income, they'll be able to get more loans, right? Their appraisal of the loan will be better. Financial market reforms are there, advancement in the IT sector, evolving macroeconomic environment, numerous micro level demand and supply side factors. Then retail banking are acting as engine of economic growth, mass market banking, easy and affordable access. All of these are leading to the growth in the retail banking segment. And if we talk about the future of retail banking, then the young population who is comfortable with debt will always increase. The middle class purchasing power is increasing. Tech adoption is there. And the future trends, there will be more direct banking, like mobile, web, ATMs will be the dominant channel. The customers will prefer these channels more as compared to the physical branches or the direct channels. So the remote channels will be preferred. AI and data science will be utilized for fraud detection, customer analytics, and risk management. There are chatbots that answer the day to day queries of the customers. They provide prompt responses. Anytime they have a query, they can simply ask using their mobile bank apps. Customer analytics, management of risk, blockchain. Blockchain is simply a ledger. So all the huge plethora of information that is available, that can be utilized, that can be used by the decision makers to take the correct action. So traditional money transfer solutions, they were problematic in both the business to business, peer to peer areas. Now the lack of standardization means that the costs are high. But due to this blockchain, the potential to solve these challenges are there. So blockchain will record and validate every transaction. It does not require any third party authorization, and it is decentralized. Still, it is a new technology. It will soon become the future of banking. Artificial intelligence will be used for fraud preventions like identity theft and credit card schemes. So we will have a better idea of the customer profile, the transaction history. We can also, through GPS based technology, check on the transaction and prevent fraudulent transactions. Anomaly detection, if there is any transaction which is not normal for the customer, if there's any illegal insider trading, it can be detected. Customer analytics, through the customers behavior trends, and we can strategize the right marketing mix. Risk management, minimizing human error, identifying and predicting the market trend. And we can also use algorithm based trading, using machine learning, automation, reducing the human errors. Cybersecurity will also be a top priority. A well defined security system will definitely be beneficial. Then, payment innovations, obviously, innovation of advanced technology as introduced by NPCI. SEPA is there in EU, right? US Federal Reserve, following all of these international trends, faster and simpler accounts payable, less complicated business to business payment system, increased payment volume will be there. And finally, in the future, we'll also be seeing the rise of big tech in the banking industry. Already, tech firms like Apple, Google, Samsung, they have been providing payment services for several years, and these are even expected to grow further. It is believed that partnerships between banks and tech companies, they're more likely than tech company outright becoming banks. So they're not threat for banks, rather they should be seen as partnerships and collaboration, right? So we can say as conclusion that the future of retail banking is positive, and in order to sustain this banking transformation, it is important that the bank should focus on the customer's expectation, listen to the customers, earn their trust, create a transparent and seamless experience, and align the recent technological development with what people want. So that is all from our unit 1. It was basically an introduction to the whole RBWN syllabus. in detail in the further units. We are going to cover everything: the different retail products, the different retail asset and liability side, other party, third party products, the remittance services, investment, all of these things. So that is all for today. In this series, continuously we'll be covering all the units. So make sure that you like the video, you share the video, and subscribe to the Olive Board JIB English Medium channel so that you do not miss any of these updates. And comment down below if you want me to cover any other topic. So thank you so much for attending. Please like the video, and I will see you in the summary of the next unit. So thank you so much and all the best.